This pinafore is very creased. I am going to acknowledge this to begin. Hi, my name's Romy. Casti and Momo Baby are both twitching on my bed. If you can hear that, it's currently gloriously raining and is completely lovely. And in CottageCore I found my aesthetic, or at least my current aesthetic. I've never really identified with a specific aesthetic before, but CottageCore came along and I was like, yes, that is me, which felt quite lovely. I really just love the CottageCore fairytale, fairy aesthetic, and I thought it would be really fun to put together some of my favourite cute outfits and do kind of a CottageCore fairytale, fairy magic lookbook. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't mention it in the video, but I wanted to add that I'll be putting all of the brands for the items I'm wearing in this lookbook in the description. So if you're curious about anything, that's where to look. I'm not precisely sure what the definition, or if there even is a definition of cottagecore, but to me it's a little bit like a story, like a fairy tale full of magic and adventure, of wilderness and forests, of exploration and joy, all of the best things with plenty of naps and good food and friends. And so, because it is a bit like a story, I will tell you a story to go along with this lookbook. First, you must know that you are gifted. You possess so many incredible qualities that it would take books and days and years and films to be able to get through even half of them. Perhaps this is why you are on your quest. Perhaps other people could see these qualities and they were harder for you. So you decided to go on an adventure and you packed your favourite clothes, things that would make you smile. And along the way you picked flowers and you told stories and you made friends. Friends with creatures, friends with humans, friends with the stories inside of your head. Sometimes the sun shone, and sometimes it didn't. You were caught in autumn storms and winter snow, in sun showers and the occasional hailstorm. You slept in tents and taverns. For a whole month you stayed in a beautiful cottage by the sea. For a time you never wanted to leave, but eventually you did, when you were ready. The important thing is the time. You learn so much on this journey, so much about yourself and about the world. And you learn how to give yourself time. You stop making lists. Well, you make less lists. You look at the sky and you don't notice for how long. You write stories that you've been wanting to write for years. Stories about things you want to do, things you have done, people you've met, and about yourself. You write a story about that little cottage, and one day you plan to go back and write more. You draw art, you paint under the sun, and you paint under the moon. And one night you set up your easel before a lake, and by the time you're finished it is morning.
and you are so overjoyed and so tired and so content. You twirl through the forest beneath trees. You spin this way and that. You recognize things that maybe you have forgotten and maybe you have lost. That day the whole world feels like an adventure and a game, and it is wonderful. You find another cottage, this one in the middle of a wood, and you stay there for 2 months, renting it from a family who leave the larders stocked and bring you fresh fruit each week. You go on picnics from this cottage, and every day you find a new path to traverse. One day you stumble upon a lilac field, the trees blooming and the air so heavily scented. A part of you wants to rush back, get your supplies, and spend the whole day there, but you don't. You don't rush back. You sit down in the middle of the lilac field and you take it all in, and it is enough for you that day. And perhaps another day you go back with your paintbrush and your books and your camera, ready to capture it and to tell more stories, and perhaps you don't. One day you go home and you are changed. You recognize new things about yourself, and you recognize that you will never stop adventuring, because you are an adventurer in the most marvelous clothes and with the most fantastic heart. And you admire yourself for all you have learned. The world is so incredibly huge, and you want to tell stories.